At the very top of our world, where the land meets the sky in a symphony of ice and light, lies a realm of breathtaking beauty and relentless challenge. This is Alaska's frozen north, a kingdom sculpted by the elements where nature reigns in its purest, most untamed form. Here the Arctic stretches vast and unbroken, crowned by towering mountains and endless plains of ice. The land is a living canvas, painted with the shifting colours of the aurora and the subtle hues of winter twilight. For countless generations this region has been ruled by a rhythm of extremes, a powerful pulse of light and darkness that shapes every moment, every heartbeat of the wild. Imagine a summer where the sun never sets, casting a golden glow that lingers for months. Under this perpetual daylight, the land awakens in a frenzy of life, every creature and plant racing to make the most of the brief warmth. This is a season of abundance and urgency, where the tundra teems with activity and the air is alive with the calls of birds and the rustle of animals on the move. But the light soon fades, giving way to a winter of unimaginable severity. The sun disappears and the world is plunged into a deep, unending twilight where cold and silence reign supreme. Survival here is a test of adaptation and resilience. Every creature is bound to the land, each uniquely equipped to endure the long, frozen night. Every plant and animal is a marvel of evolution, perfectly honed to seize the fleeting opportunities of summer and withstand the crushing cold of winter. Life here is a delicate balance, where a single misstep or a sudden change in the weather can mean the difference between survival and oblivion. The air is so cold it freezes breath in an instant, and the silence is profound, a living presence that envelops the land in stillness. This is a world that appears stark and simple, yet reveals infinite complexity upon closer inspection. A place where the raw power of nature is on full, unapologetic display. The very essence of this world is ice, layer upon layer, ancient and new, shaping every aspect of the landscape. Ice covers the land in vast sheets, floats upon the ocean as a shifting platform, and lies hidden beneath the surface as permafrost, frozen earth that has endured for millennia. This ice is not just a feature of the landscape, it is the landscape, sculpting coastlines, dictating the flow of rivers, and providing the foundation for all life here. It shapes the very bones of the land, carving valleys, building deltas, and creating the intricate waterways that sustain the ecosystem. From the smallest microbe thriving in the coldest crevices to the mighty polar bear roaming the ice, every living thing is bound to the rhythm and presence of frozen water, a testament to nature's ingenuity in one of its most demanding arenas. Yet this ancient world is now facing a threat unlike any before. The ice, once seemingly eternal, is beginning to vanish. The timeless rhythms that have governed the Arctic are being disrupted, and the very foundation of this ecosystem is shifting beneath the feet of its wild inhabitants. The challenges have always been immense, but now they are changing at a pace that tests even the most resilient forms of life. This land of extremes is becoming even more unpredictable, pushing its remarkable creatures to the very edge of survival. We stand at a pivotal moment in the story of Alaska's frozen north, a time of profound transformation that will shape the destiny of this wild, wondrous, and fiercely beautiful place. The Arctic stands as our planet's most sensitive barometer, a realm where the first and most dramatic signs of climate upheaval are revealed in the land, the water, and the very air. For decades, the Arctic's frozen silence has been broken by the unmistakable signals of change, ice fracturing, snow melting, and ancient patterns unravelling. This region is warming at a staggering rate, nearly 4 times faster than the global average, with temperatures rising relentlessly year after year. The transformation is not subtle. It is a sweeping, fundamental shift that is reshaping the Arctic's identity. Imagine a fever gripping the top of the world, a relentless heat that seeps into every corner of the ecosystem, unraveling the delicate balance that has existed for millennia. Since 1971, the average temperature here has climbed by over 3 degrees Celsius, a monumental change for a world built on cold and stability. This rapid warming is the catalyst for a cascade of effects, each one rippling outward to touch every living thing in the northern wilds. The most visible sign of this crisis is the dramatic loss of sea ice, the Arctic's defining feature. Each year, the area of the Arctic Ocean covered by ice shrinks further, exposing more of the ocean to the warming sun. The summer of 2023 marked the lowest levels of sea ice ever recorded, a stark milestone in the Arctic's ongoing transformation. This is not merely melting ice, it is the disappearance of a vital platform that supports the entire Arctic food web. For countless species, the sea ice is a hunting ground, a nursery and a sanctuary. Its loss reverberates through every level of life. The ice-free season in places like Hudson Bay has extended by more than 3 weeks compared to just a few decades ago, a devastating change for animals that depend on a solid frozen platform to survive and thrive. The Arctic's signature white cloak is being replaced by dark, heat-absorbing ocean, which accelerates warming even further in a relentless feedback loop. Beneath the surface, another profound transformation is underway, one that threatens the very foundation of the Arctic landscape. The permafrost, a layer of permanently frozen ground that underpins much of Alaska, is thawing at an unprecedented rate. This process destabilizes the land, causing the ground to slump and creating unpredictable sinkholes that swallow entire swathes of vegetation and disrupt ancient plant communities. Locked within this frozen earth are vast quantities of ancient stored carbon, remnants of millennia-old plants and animals. As the permafrost thaws, it releases this carbon into the atmosphere as greenhouse gases like methane and carbon dioxide, amplifying the warming cycle. Scientists estimate that over 150 billion tons of carbon are now being released annually, turning the Arctic tundra from a carbon sink into a carbon source and fueling the very warming that causes it to melt. This unravelling is not a distant future threat. It is happening now, with profound consequences for every wild creature that calls this place home. The warming air and seas are altering weather patterns, shifting the timing of seasons and changing the availability of food for all Arctic life. Ocean acidification, a direct result of the sea absorbing more carbon dioxide, is making it harder for shelled creatures to build their protective homes, threatening the very base of the marine food web. The intricate balance that has defined the Arctic for millennia is being thrown into disarray as ancient rhythms are disrupted and new challenges emerge. Every living thing in this extraordinary wilderness is now forced to adapt to a new and uncertain reality, as the climate crisis reshapes Alaska's wild wonders in ways never before seen. There is perhaps no animal more symbolic of the Arctic's power and fragility than the polar bear. These majestic creatures are the living embodiment of the frozen north, their lives woven into the very fabric of the ice and snow that stretches to the horizon. In this stark, breathtaking wilderness, the polar bear reigns as both predator and survivor, a testament to nature's ingenuity and resilience. As the world's largest land carnivore, the polar bear is the undisputed king of the north. Males can weigh up to 1,760 pounds, their immense size a necessity for enduring the relentless cold and the long, lean months between hunts. Yet despite their formidable presence on land, polar bears are in truth creatures of the sea. They are classified as marine mammals, their lives inextricably bound to the shifting, ever-changing world of Arctic sea ice. The sea ice is their lifeblood, hunting ground, mating ground, and the highway that connects the vast reaches of their frozen domain. Every aspect of their existence is dictated by the rhythm of the ice. This frozen platform is where the polar bear's story unfolds. Here they stalk the breathing holes of seals, waiting with patience honed by generations for the moment their prey surfaces. The fat-rich seals are the key to survival, providing the energy needed to endure the long sunless winter and the months when food is scarce. But as the climate warms, the sea ice is vanishing. Without it, the polar bear's ancient hunting grounds are disappearing, leaving them stranded and hungry. The polar bear's body is a marvel of adaptation. 2 layers of fur and a thick layer of blubber insulate them from the most brutal cold, while their black skin absorbs the faint warmth of the Arctic sun. Their enormous paws act like snowshoes, spreading their weight so they can cross even the softest drifts, while rough pads and sharp claws provide traction on the slickest ice. Their sense of smell is legendary, so acute that a polar bear can detect a seal nearly 20 miles away, even beneath thick layers of snow and ice. For the females, survival demands even greater sacrifice. They fast for up to 8 months, giving birth and nursing their cubs in the safety of snow dens, drawing on precious fat reserves to sustain new life in the heart of winter. These remarkable adaptations have allowed polar bears to thrive in one of the harshest environments on Earth for thousands of years. But now, the very foundation of their world is slipping away. As the sea ice melts earlier each spring and forms later each autumn, polar bears are forced to spend longer periods on land, where food is scarce and survival is uncertain. They are powerful swimmers, capable of crossing vast stretches of frigid ocean, but the increasing distances between ice flows push them to their limits. Some bears have been recorded swimming for over 60 miles without rest, a journey that can prove fatal for the young and the weak. Prolonged fasting and relentless travel deplete their vital fat reserves, weakening their bodies, reducing their ability to reproduce, and threatening the survival of their cubs. The Arctic is changing faster than ever before, and the polar bear is caught in the heart of this transformation. The challenges they face are not part of a natural cycle, but the result of a rapidly warming world. The future of the polar bear is now inseparable from the fate of the sea ice. As the ice disappears, so too does the world that has shaped and sustained them for millennia. If current trends continue, the equation is heartbreakingly simple. As the ice vanishes, so too will this iconic hunter of the north. The survival of the great white bear depends entirely on the preservation of its frozen world. Only by safeguarding the Arctic's icy heart can we ensure that the polar bear's story continues, etched forever in the snow and silence of the far north. Across the endless wind-swept tundra of Alaska, immense herds of caribou set out on one of nature's most extraordinary migrations, a journey that has shaped the Arctic for millennia. Each step is guided by instinct, a deep memory passed through generations, compelling them to traverse up to 2,700 miles each year. Their migration is a test of endurance, crossing frozen rivers and snow-laden valleys, always in search of the calving grounds and winter pastures that sustain them. With hundreds of thousands moving as one, their presence shapes the very land, carving trails and dispersing seeds. Their hooves a living force in the Arctic ecosystem. Every day is a balance between hunger and vigilance as they graze on the meagre bounty the tundra offers, ever watchful for the silent approach of predators. Their bodies are built for this relentless journey, muscles lean and powerful, senses sharp, and hooves broad and concave, spreading their weight to glide atop deep snow. These remarkable hooves serve as snowshoes in winter and transform into paddles when icy rivers must be crossed, allowing the herds to swim with surprising grace. The caribou's journey is a story of adaptation, of survival against the odds in a world of ice and shadow. Their survival depends on their ability to find food beneath the snow and to sense danger before it strikes. Sharing this frozen realm is another ancient survivor, the muskox, a living relic of the Ice Age. Unlike the restless caribou, muskoxen endure the Arctic's fury by standing their ground, forming tight-knit herds that face the storm as one. Their defence is not in flight, but in unity and resilience, their bodies shielded by a double-layered coat that is among the warmest in the animal kingdom. Long, coarse guard hairs drape over a dense, soft underwool called kiviut, a natural marvel 8 times warmer than sheep's wool. This extraordinary insulation allows muskoxen to withstand temperatures that would freeze most life in its tracks. When danger looms, the herd forms a living fortress, powerful horns outward, young sheltered at the core, a strategy honed over thousands of years. This ancient tactic has allowed them to endure predators and storms alike, a testament to their unyielding spirit. Muskoxen are living echoes of a vanished world, their lineage stretching back to the age of mammoths and saber-toothed cats. They have survived where so many giants have fallen, enduring the harshest winters the planet can muster. Yet now both caribou and muskox face a new and unpredictable adversary, a rapidly changing climate. For caribou, survival hinges on their ability to reach lichen buried beneath the snow, a task made perilous by warming winters. Increasingly, rain falls on snow and freezes, sealing their food beneath an impenetrable layer of ice. Locked away from their only winter sustenance, caribou grow weak and entire herds suffer as starvation takes hold. Once mighty herds dwindle, their numbers a stark reflection of the mounting pressures they face. Muskoxen, too, are challenged by these icy events, their thick coats weighed down by frozen rain, their food locked beneath the surface. Even their powerful hooves and determined digging cannot always break through the ice to reach the grasses and sedges below. As the tundra warms, the very fabric of their world shifts. Shrubs begin to invade the open grasslands, altering the delicate balance of food and shelter. Both caribou and muskox must adapt to landscapes that are no longer predictable, their ancient rhythms disrupted by a world in flux. The skills and instincts that once guaranteed survival are now tested by conditions never before encountered. Yet in the face of these challenges, the resilience of these Arctic giants endures, a testament to adaptation, perseverance, and the will to survive. As the land transforms around them, caribou and muskox continue their ancient struggle, adapting with every step to the shifting world they call home. The frigid, nutrient-rich waters that encircle Alaska form a vast, living tapestry, one that supports some of the most extraordinary marine mammals on Earth. Here, in the shadow of drifting ice and beneath the shimmer of the northern lights, life has evolved to thrive in the extremes of cold and darkness. Yet, as the climate shifts, these ancient survivors face a world in flux. Among the most enchanting of these Arctic residents is the beluga whale, a creature whose pure white form glides silently through the icy depths. Known as the canary of the sea, the beluga's world is filled with sound, an intricate symphony of whistles, clicks and chirps that echo through the water. Belugas travel in tight-knit pods, weaving through the murky currents with a grace born of generations. Their sophisticated echolocation allows them to sense the faintest movement, to find fish and invertebrates hidden in the gloom, and to navigate the labyrinth of shifting ice. The rhythm of their lives is dictated by the sea ice, its seasonal advance and retreat shaping their migrations, offering shelter from lurking orcas, and guiding them along ancient routes etched into memory by the cycles of freeze and thaw. Within their pods, belugas communicate constantly. Their voices carry through the water, coordinating hunts, warning of danger and strengthening the social bonds that are vital for survival in this harsh environment. Sharing these icy waters is another Arctic giant, the Pacific walrus. These immense mammals, draped in thick wrinkled skin and crowned with long ivory tusks, are perfectly adapted to a life spent between sea and ice. The walrus's tusks are more than a symbol of power. They are essential tools used to haul their massive bodies onto the ice, to break breathing holes in the frozen surface, and to defend against prowling predators. With a powerful thrust, a walrus can lift itself from the frigid water, finding refuge on the ice where it can rest, socialize, and care for its young. Their tusks also serve as weapons and tools, breaking through thick ice to create breathing holes and fending off would-be attackers in the stark open landscape. Beneath the waves, walruses become expert foragers. Their sensitive whiskers sweep the muddy seabed, detecting the faintest vibrations of buried clams and mollusks. With a sudden, powerful suction, they draw their prey from the sand, leaving behind a trail of empty shells. The sea ice is more than a resting place. It is a nursery, a sanctuary, where mothers nurture their calves and the herd finds safety between long, energy-draining dives. But the Arctic is changing. Each year the summer sea ice retreats farther and faster, leaving both belugas and walruses with fewer places to rest, feed and raise their young. For walruses, the vanishing ice means a perilous journey to distant shores. Forced to abandon their traditional platforms, they swim for miles, seeking refuge on land. On the beaches, thousands of walruses gather in dense, restless herds. The sand becomes a crowded, noisy refuge far from the safety of the ice. In these cramped conditions, stress and danger are constant companions. The smallest calves are especially vulnerable, hemmed in by the press of bodies and the ever-present threat of panic. A sudden disturbance, a distant sound, or the shadow of a predator can trigger a stampede. In the chaos, young walruses are often trampled, their cries lost in the thunder of fleeing giants. This new threat, born from the loss of ice, is reshaping the walruses' world, turning once safe havens into sites of peril. Beluga whales, too, are feeling the strain. As the ice recedes, their world grows more exposed and the dangers multiply. Orcas, once kept at bay by thick ice, now roam freely through open channels, hunting belugas in places that were once safe. The melting ice has also opened the Arctic to new intruders. Massive ships now slice through the water, their engines rumbling through the depths. The relentless noise from these vessels disrupts the beluga's delicate world of sound, masking the calls of their companions and the echoes that guide them through the gloom. In this new Arctic, both walrus and beluga must adapt to a world that is louder, more unpredictable and fraught with new dangers. Their struggle is a testament to resilience, but also a warning. A reminder that even the mightiest creatures of the frozen north are not immune to the relentless pace of change. Deep within Alaska's vast, silent interior, where ancient forests stretch endlessly and rivers carve their way through the snow-laden wilderness, a powerful presence moves quietly beneath the towering spruce and birch. Along these salmon-choked rivers roams one of the region's most enduring icons, the brown bear or grizzly, a creature whose story is written in the rhythms of the land itself. Alaska stands as a global sanctuary for these magnificent animals, a place where their lineage has flourished for thousands of years. Here, an astonishing 98% of the United States brown bear population finds refuge, thriving in the wild heart of the North. These are animals of immense power and resilience, their bodies built for survival in a land of extremes. The largest males can tip the scales at over 1,500 pounds, their bulk a testament to the abundance and challenge of their world. As true omnivores, brown bears possess a remarkable adaptability, feasting on everything from succulent berries and roots to the protein-rich bounty of fish and insects. Yet their very survival, especially their ability to endure the long frozen months of hibernation, depends on a single spectacular event. The annual salmon run, a pulse of life that surges through Alaska's rivers, delivers the massive influx of calories that sustains the bears through winter's deep sleep. In preparation, a single bear may consume up to 88 pounds of food in a day, gorging on fish, berries and roots to build the fat reserves that are their lifeline. Each mouthful is transformed into the thick layer of fat that will see them through months of darkness and hunger. The life of a brown bear is a dance with the seasons, each step dictated by the shifting light and the promise of food. In spring they emerge from their dens, blinking into the weak sunlight, gaunt and hungry after months of slumber. The race begins anew, a frantic search for nourishment to replenish their depleted bodies. Summer is a season of abundance, but also of urgency, as every bear must eat enough to survive the coming winter. The climax arrives with the return of the salmon. Millions of fish surging upstream, a living tide that transforms the rivers into feasting grounds. This migration is a spectacle of life and death, the rivers running silver with the bodies of fish returning to the place of their birth. The bounty of the salmon run is the foundation of the entire ecosystem, nourishing not just the bears but every creature that calls this wild land home. Eagles soar overhead, wolves prowl the shadows, and even the forest itself is fed as the remains of salmon are carried far from the riverbanks. Bears drag their catch deep into the woods, scattering nutrients that enrich the soil and fuel the next generation of growth. In this way, the brown bear is both predator and gardener, shaping the land with every meal. For millennia, this ancient cycle of feasting and hibernation has defined the brown bear's existence, a delicate balance maintained by the turning of the seasons. But now subtle and pervasive changes are rippling through the land as the climate shifts in ways both seen and unseen. Warmer springs and shorter winters are coaxing some bears from their dens before the land is ready to receive them. When they awaken, the world outside may still be locked in winter's grip, with vital early-season foods hidden beneath stubborn snow. The sedges and roots they depend on are often unavailable, their emergence delayed by lingering cold. This mismatch in timing places immense strain on the bears, forcing them to search farther and longer for sustenance. For mothers with newborn cubs, the challenge is even greater, as they must protect and nourish their most vulnerable young in a world slow to awaken. Emerging from the den, these families are at their weakest, every calorie precious, every day a test of endurance. They are forced to burn precious reserves, searching for food that has not yet arrived, risking exhaustion at the very start of the season. It is a perilous beginning, one that can shape the fate of the entire year. Meanwhile, the same warming trends that challenge the bears are also transforming the rivers and the salmon they depend on. Warmer river temperatures stress the salmon, making their journey upstream more perilous and their survival less certain. Disease spreads more easily in these altered waters, and the fish grow weaker, their numbers dwindling. At times, thermal barriers form, walls of warm water that halt the salmon's progress, preventing them from reaching their ancient spawning grounds. Even the distant ocean is changing, as shifting currents and warming seas alter the food web that sustains the salmon far from shore. The result is uncertainty, fluctuations in the size and timing of the salmon runs, and with them the fate of the bears. For the brown bear this means waiting, searching and sometimes going hungry as the rivers that once teemed with life fall silent. The intricate clockwork of the Alaskan wild, where bear, salmon. To truly understand Alaska, one must first surrender to the overwhelming scale and majesty of its wild heart. Here the land itself is the storyteller, its vastness, its silence, and its relentless transformation shaping every chapter of its ancient saga. Alaska is a realm of superlatives. The largest state in the United States, stretching across more than 600,000 square miles. Its boundaries encompass a world where mountains rise like the spines of sleeping giants, rivers twist and braid through endless forests, and the coastline is battered by the restless pulse of the Pacific and Arctic Oceans. The mighty Alaska Range slashes across the landscape, crowned by Denali, North America's highest summit, soaring above the clouds at over 20,000 feet. These mountains are not mere scenery. They are architects of weather, summoning storms, casting rain shadows and feeding the glaciers that have sculpted valleys and carved fjords over millennia. Glaciers, ancient and immense, grind their way through the land, leaving behind a legacy of deep blue ice, moraines, and shimmering meltwater lakes. In spring, rivers awaken, breaking free from winter's grip, their icy torrents shaping new paths through gravel plains and tundra. Alaska's story is written in stone and ice. Volcanic peaks rise abruptly from misty valleys, their eruptions reshaping the land in moments of fiery upheaval. Earthquakes rumble beneath the surface, reminders of the restless tectonic forces that continue to mould this wild frontier. The Arctic tundra stretches to the horizon, a mosaic of permafrost, lichen and moss, where the sun never sets in summer and never rises in the heart of winter. Here the northern lights dance in silent symphonies, painting the sky with ribbons of green and violet. Along the coast, ancient rainforests thrive in perpetual mist, their trees draped in moss and their streams tumbling over hidden waterfalls. The sea crashes against rugged cliffs and carves sea stacks from the land, while river deltas fan into the Bering Sea, creating intricate patterns visible only from the sky. Seasons sweep across Alaska in dramatic fashion. Autumn ignites the taiga in gold and crimson, while winter cloaks the land in silence and snow. Spring brings the great thaw, as wildflowers burst from the earth and ice floes drift downstream, signaling the return of life. Through eons, Alaska's landscapes have been shaped by forces both violent and patient, glaciers grinding, volcanoes erupting, rivers meandering, and storms sculpting. Each layer of rock, each ancient valley, is a testament to the enduring power of nature's hand. Even today, Alaska is a land of contrasts. Pristine wilderness stretches beside the marks of modern industry, oil fields and pipelines, threading through a world that remains, at its core, untamed and magnificent. From the first sunrise over its mountains to the midnight sun above the Arctic, Alaska's epic geography and history are a living chronicle, an ever-evolving masterpiece written by the earth itself. In the heart of Alaska's wild expanse, animals are rewriting the rules of survival as their world transforms around them. The frozen north, once a realm of predictable seasons and ancient rhythms, now demands new strategies from every creature that calls it home. Caribou, whose epic migrations have shaped the land for centuries, now face rivers swollen with meltwater and landscapes turned to mud. Their journeys grow longer and more perilous as they search for the shrinking patches of lichen that sustain them. For polar bears, the retreat of sea ice means a life spent swimming greater distances, risking exhaustion and hunger. Mothers with cubs must navigate a patchwork of ice, hunting seals in a world where their hunting grounds melt away beneath their paws. The Arctic fox, once perfectly camouflaged in endless white, now finds its snowy coat a liability as the tundra browns earlier each year. Some foxes adapt by shifting their hunting to rocky outcrops and learning to track new prey. Meanwhile, the red fox, a larger and more aggressive rival, pushes north into the warming landscape. The two species now compete for food and territory, forcing the Arctic fox to retreat or adapt in the face of this new challenger. Brown bears, too, are changing their habits. As salmon runs become less predictable, some bears turn to the coast, scavenging on whale carcasses or foraging for shellfish and seaweed, an unexpected bounty in a shifting ecosystem. High in the mountains, Dall sheep and muskoxen face new challenges as unpredictable weather brings sudden thaws and freezes. They must find shelter and food in ever-changing conditions, relying on ancient instincts and new behaviours alike. The snowy owl, a silent hunter of the open tundra, now finds its prey, lemmings and voles, less predictable as snow cover vanishes early. Some owls travel farther, following the shifting abundance of small mammals across the landscape. Even beavers, long absent from the far north, are returning as rivers thaw and new wetlands form. Their dams reshape the land, creating habitats for countless other species and altering the flow of water through the tundra. In the coastal waters, beluga whales and walruses adjust to a world with less ice. Belugas explore new estuaries, while walruses haul out on crowded beaches, vulnerable to storms and predators in ways they never were before. The ptarmigan, master of disguise, now changes its plumage earlier, blending into a patchwork of snow and earth. Timing is everything, as mismatched camouflage can mean the difference between life and death. The wolverine, a solitary wanderer, adapts by ranging farther and caching food in unpredictable places, always one step ahead of the changing seasons. Across Alaska, every animal faces the challenge of change. Some adapt, some struggle, and all are part of a living tapestry that is being rewoven before our eyes. Their stories are a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of life in the frozen north. The destiny of Alaska and the Arctic is woven into the very fabric of our planet's natural systems. Here, in this vast and untamed wilderness, the story of preservation is written in the language of ice, wind, and wild creatures. The shifting ice and changing skies signal transformations that ripple far beyond the horizon, touching every corner of the globe. As glaciers melt and ancient ice crumbles into the sea, the rising tides echo the vulnerability of distant shores, while the cold, pure waters nourish a web of life that has endured for millennia. The thawing earth releases ancient secrets, gases long trapped beneath the frozen ground, fueling a cycle of warming that reverberates through every ecosystem. The Arctic, a natural reservoir of cold, acts as the planet's great stabilizer, its icy breath shaping weather and climate across continents. The health of this frozen realm is inseparable from the balance of the world's climate, its rhythms echoing in the winds and waters that circle the globe. To preserve this magnificent wilderness is to safeguard the intricate tapestry of life that flourishes here, each river, each mountain, each valley a sanctuary for resilience and renewal. The path to preservation is marked by the quiet determination of the muskox, the silent watchfulness of the Arctic fox, and the enduring cycles of the seasons. Even as the challenges mount, hope endures in the persistence of life. Walruses gathering on drifting ice, sunlight returning after the long polar night. The growing awareness of nature's fragility inspires new patterns of adaptation and resilience among the wild inhabitants of this land. The migration of caribou, the silent passage of wolves, and the return of birds to their summer nesting grounds are all testaments to the enduring spirit of the Arctic. Each species, from the smallest insect to the great brown bear, plays a vital role in the balance of this ecosystem, their lives intertwined in a delicate dance of survival. The preservation of wild habitats, rivers, forests, and tundra ensures that these ancient relationships endure, supporting the cycles of birth, growth, and renewal. The future of the polar bear's icy domain and the caribou's endless journey depends on the continued integrity of these wild places. Every adaptation, every survival, is a testament to the resilience of nature and the importance of protecting these fragile lands. The path forward is illuminated by the wisdom of the land itself, its ancient forests, its resilient plants, its enduring cycles. To walk this path is to move in harmony with the wild, to honour the rhythms of water, wind and earth. It means supporting the natural processes that restore balance, allowing habitats to recover and wildlife to thrive. It means listening to the voices of the wild, the calls of birds, the rustle of leaves, the silence of snow, each a reminder of the land's enduring wisdom. And it means weaving these lessons into the very fabric of preservation, guided by the patterns and cycles of the natural world. The path to preservation is a shared journey among all living things, bound together by the land, the water and the sky. The health of the Arctic is a mirror reflecting the health of the entire planet, its fate entwined with the future of all life. This is a moment that calls for the resilience of the wild, the ingenuity of the fox, the patience of the lynx, the adaptability of every creature that calls this place home. The story of Alaska's wild wonders is a story of survival, adaptation, and the breathtaking beauty of life in its purest form. It is a celebration of the resilience of nature and the awe-inspiring spectacle of the living world. It is a reminder of what stands to be lost, should the balance tip too far. But it is also a powerful inspiration for what can be protected and renewed as life finds a way to flourish even in the harshest conditions. By honouring the wild with urgency and reverence, we can help ensure that this land of extremes remains a sanctuary for life, a place where wild wonders endure for generations to come. The future of the Arctic is an unwritten story, its next chapter waiting to unfold. The pen lies in the hands of nature itself, and the story yet to be written is one of recovery, respect, and the enduring majesty of Alaska's wild wonders, forever untamed, forever resilient. In the stillness of the Arctic winter, a small resilient creature emerges as a symbol of adaptation and ingenuity, the Arctic fox. Blanketed in a thick, pristine coat that shifts from brown to dazzling white as the seasons change, the Arctic fox is perfectly attuned to the rhythm of the frozen tundra. Its fur, among the warmest in the animal kingdom, offers protection from biting winds and sub-zero temperatures, while its compact body conserves precious heat. As snow blankets the landscape, the Arctic fox sets out across the endless white, its keen senses guiding each step. With ears tuned to the faintest sounds beneath the snow, it listens for the subtle movements of lemmings and voles. Patient and precise, it leaps high into the air, breaking through the icy crust to snatch its prey, each hunt a testament to its resourcefulness. The Arctic fox is a master of scarcity, thriving when food is scarce by caching leftovers in hidden snowbanks. It follows in the footsteps of larger predators, scavenging what remains, ensuring that nothing goes to waste in this land of extremes. Its nimble paws tread lightly over snowdrifts, leaving barely a trace as it roams in search of sustenance. When storms descend and the world is shrouded in darkness, the Arctic fox finds shelter in deep burrows carved into the frozen earth. There it weathers the longest nights, emerging only when the winds subside and the promise of food beckons. Through each challenge, the Arctic fox endures, its survival a delicate balance of instinct, adaptability and quiet resilience. Amid the shimmering auroras and the silent expanse, the Arctic fox reminds us of the remarkable strategies that allow life to flourish in even the harshest environments. In Alaska's frozen wilderness, it is not just a survivor, but a master of the art of endurance, a living testament to the beauty and ingenuity of the wild. In the vast untamed wilderness of Alaska, a remarkable phenomenon unfolds each year, an avian ballet of epic proportions. As the seasons turn, a diverse array of bird species embarks on extraordinary journeys, traversing thousands of miles to reach their breeding and wintering grounds. These migratory marvels, from the diminutive Arctic tern to the majestic sandhill crane, navigate a world in flux, guided by ancient instincts and an uncanny sense of direction. The Arctic tern, a diminutive and elegant flyer, undertakes one of the longest migrations known to science. From the icy reaches of the Arctic to the Antarctic's edge, it traces a path that spans nearly the entire globe. With each wing beat it rides the winds, crossing continents and oceans, a testament to endurance and precision. But even the most time-honoured routes are not immune to change. As climate patterns shift, so too do the landscapes these birds rely upon. Wetlands shrink, food sources fluctuate, and timing becomes ever more critical. The sandhill crane, with its haunting calls and graceful flight, faces new challenges as it navigates altered habitats. Yet it adapts, seeking out new stopover sites and adjusting its timing to the rhythms of a warming world. In the coastal estuaries, the black-bellied plover forages along the tide's edge, its keen eyes scanning for invertebrates. This bird, like many others, must contend with rising sea levels and changing shorelines. It alters its feeding grounds, demonstrating a resilience that echoes the broader struggle of avian species worldwide. High above the tundra, the snow bunting flits between patches of snow and exposed ground. Its migratory path brings it to the brink of the Arctic Circle, where it nests and raises its young. As temperatures rise and snow cover diminishes, this hardy bird must find new strategies to protect its offspring and secure food. Each bird's journey is a narrative of survival and adaptation. From the wetlands to the high peaks, from the forests to the open sky, the migratory patterns of Alaskan birds reveal a dynamic interplay between nature and climate. Their paths, etched across the heavens, remind us of the intricate web of life and the profound impact of environmental change. In the silence of the Arctic night and the dawn chorus of the boreal forest, these winged travellers continue their ancient cycles, a living testament to the resilience and beauty of the natural world. Through their journeys, we glimpse the delicate balance that sustains life in Alaska's wild frontier, a balance that, like the birds themselves, must adapt and endure. Beneath Alaska's frozen expanse lies a world few have seen, a realm sculpted by ice, shadow, and ancient water. Here, beneath the thick, translucent sheets, life endures in silence and darkness. The frigid rivers and lakes, locked for months under ice, remain teeming with resilient aquatic inhabitants. Tiny zooplankton drift, barely visible, forming the foundation of this secret ecosystem. They pulse and swirl, feeding on microscopic algae that bloom in brief bursts of sunlight filtering through the ice. In their wake, Arctic grayling and lake trout glide slowly, their bodies adapted to the cold, conserving energy as they wait for spring's thaw. Close to the bottom, freshwater sculpin and burbot navigate the rocky substrate, their movements deliberate and unhurried. Even in near-freezing water, these fish thrive, their metabolisms perfectly tuned to the icy embrace of their environment. Encased in the ice itself, ancient air bubbles and frozen plant fragments preserve a record of seasons past, each layer a silent chronicle of Alaska's changing climate. As the ice thickens and cracks, delicate patterns emerge, casting shifting light onto the world below. In this submerged silence, freshwater shrimp and insect larvae burrow into the silt, awaiting the warmth that will signal a new cycle of life. Overhead, the ice acts as both shield and filter, protecting the aquatic realm from the harshest winds and predators above. This hidden world beneath Alaska's ice is a testament to life's persistence. Every creature, every current, and every frozen ripple tells a story of adaptation and endurance. While invisible to most, these underwater communities are vital threads in the tapestry of Alaska's wild frontier, reminding us that even in the coldest, darkest places, life finds a way. Across Alaska's vast tundra, life flourishes not in towering forests, but in a subtle, resilient tapestry woven close to the earth. Here, lichens, mosses and hardy tundra plants form the living foundation of the northern ecosystem. Lichens, ancient partnerships between fungi and algae, cling to rocks and soil, splashing the landscape with muted greens, yellows and greys. They are pioneers thriving where little else can survive, slowly breaking down stone and creating the first threads of soil. Their ability to fix nitrogen enriches the ground, making it possible for other plants to take root. Mosses, with their delicate sponge-like structures, cover the tundra in a soft, resilient carpet. They absorb and retain moisture from melting snow and brief summer rains, creating microhabitats for countless insects and invertebrates. As temperatures plunge, mosses insulate the ground, preserving permafrost and slowing the thaw that shapes Alaska's landscape. Between the lichens and mosses, tundra plants, like dwarf willows, Arctic poppies and cotton grass, push through the shallow soil. These plants hug the ground, their leaves and stems adapted to capture warmth and resist the relentless wind. Their brief, vibrant blooms mark the fleeting Arctic summer, providing food and shelter for birds, rodents, and even the mighty caribou. Together, these silent architects stabilize the soil, slow erosion, and shape the flow of water across the land. They sustain the herbivores and insects at the base of Alaska's food web, anchoring a chain of life that stretches from the smallest microbe to the largest predator. In this harsh environment, every mossy cushion and lichen patch is a testament to quiet endurance. The tundra's understated beauty reveals a world where survival depends on cooperation, adaptation, and the patient work of nature's most humble engineers. In Alaska, time is painted by light. As the seasons shift, the sun's path transforms the land, orchestrating a silent symphony of life. In winter, darkness lingers. Days shrink to mere hours, and the land is cloaked in twilight and shadow. Animals adapt in remarkable ways. The Arctic fox's coat turns pure white, blending seamlessly into the snow. Snowshoe hares sleep beneath the drifts, conserving energy, while ptarmigans burrow into the powder, their feathers puffed against the cold. Then the sun returns. The first rays of spring ignite the tundra, waking the land from its long slumber. Caribou herds begin their great migration, following the light across vast distances. Muskoxen, once huddled against the polar night, graze in the pale gold of the midnight sun. Songbirds, drawn by the promise of endless daylight, fill the air with music, nesting, feeding and raising their young in a race against time. As summer peaks, the sun barely sets. Rivers shimmer under a sky that glows at midnight. Salmon surge upstream, guided by instinct and the unbroken day. Brown bears emerge from the shadows to feast, their lives governed by the bounty of light and abundance. Even the smallest creatures, like lemmings and Arctic ground squirrels, adjust their rhythms, feeding, breeding and preparing for the coming cold. And as the light fades, a hush falls over the land. Animals gather food, grow thicker coats, and ready themselves for darkness. The aurora dances above, a final celebration before winter's return. In Alaska, every creature is shaped by the sun's journey. The changing light is more than a backdrop. It is the heartbeat of the wild, guiding the cycles of survival and renewal in the frozen north.